Hi guys, hey everyone. Before I get started, I am aware, of course, that this is not my original presentation when uploading my videos. I'm sorry, life is still life, and even though I did receive some good news a few minutes before recording this, so that's good. But moving on. As you all know, I am still in my 21-day devotion, and just recently I came across a devotion that put me in a position where I was allowed to see how far I've come in this particular situation. And it's really exciting, and this is something I do want to share with you all. Which on a personal level, I do believe that this is confirmation that I needed pertaining my spiritual growth. And it just feels good to see myself in such a great light with this great improvement over myself. So I learned that memories hold power. And I know that when we think about that, we think about memories, from the mind. But no, I am talking about memories that are stored within the heart. As I've mentioned before in previous videos that I uploaded, that we absorb, that our heart takes in everything, and it shapes us to who we are and or who we have become on the outside for everyone to see. The heart can be conditioned by repetitive things, beliefs, everyday cycles, patterns, and this starts earlier on in life. The heart stores more than it does more than we could ever imagine. Okay, it is important not only physically but spiritually, and that is something I also had mentioned previously. It holds more than our thoughts, our moods, our emotions, but memories, which plays a serious role behind our conditioned heart. So our memories are literally tattooed, they're engraved within our hearts, with also comes with emotional weight that is attached to it. The heart records things that things that we have dealt with and or things that we are dealing with. The recording of our memories can shape how you and I see things present and future. Okay, so but trust me when I tell you, you don't want to walk around with an unhealed heart at all. Why? Because it can cause a misleading perception on yourself. It can cause a misleading perception on others and God. And um just some personal experience of things that I went through, in the past. And one thing that God had to bring me out of was the rejection thing. Was rejection. I remember when I got rejected from my first job ever when I applied for it. And when I tell y'all it tore me up, that was like pride being shattered right there. When I got that no, that no, it's like you said no to me. Like when I got that no, it did something to me, and I kind of freaked out because it was like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You know, um, but that's not the worst, I feel like. I think the worst with me is, my dating life. My dating history has not been the greatest, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody of what I've been what I've been through in the past. Um, but I have dealt with things, with rejection of some sort in relationships as well. Um, and it's a rejection after getting together. It's not that rejection of, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot and then get turned down. Like, no, it's being in a relationship, going through all this, creating all these memories with each other, and just to find out, like, at the very end, the whole time you've been played, like, you that person just they really rejected you behind your back, but played such a great role of something that made you feel like it was real. And I know a lot of y'all can I know y'all have some stories too. I know I'm not the the only one that has dealt with that. And to me, I feel like that created pain within me. It made me insecure for a moment. It made me question myself and ask God, like, what did I do wrong? At what point in this relationship did I do something? And that was like the exact mark where he decided to do all that, that he did. I always blame myself for, relationships and stuff like that, because I'm just like, was I not enough? When you have to question yourself whether or not if you're enough, like it tears you down. It tears you down, especially when you going in this relationship hard. Like you have a purpose for, like, hey, I'm dating to marry. Even the young me, that was my mindset too. Wanting that future with that person and stuff. And I think my darkest time, but yet my greatest testimony was me going through what I was going through in my marriage with my now ex husband. And I will eventually tell y'all that story one day soon. I just got to get myself together to tell that. Um, 'Cause it's a lot. It's a lot, but God got me out of that. But anyway, so yeah, going through all these rejections and stuff with that, and just the jobs and stuff. I remember at that moment I told God that I wanted a relationship with him. And I know that I grew up in the church and things like that. So I was like, I don't want a relationship on the behalf of what I grew up on, me going to church and things like that. No, I want a relationship between me and you. Anything outside of that is irrelevant. I'm talking about me and you, God. And it started, farming, but things were really rocky as I was building this relationship and wanting God to lead me and everything and just to do things right. It took some time, and I thank God for his patience with me, because baby, when I tell y'all, I was a mess. Okay. But I do appreciate his patience with me and everything that I went through. And I remember, you know, going through breakups and stuff, and I'm being upset with God. I'm upset with God because I'm just like, I'm letting you in. This is not for the rejection to continue. Like I was just so upset. And now that I know what I know and I'm healed, and I look back on, and I'm just like, dang, like God was protecting me the whole time. But I was so blinded by my emotions and feeling like things should be done my way when it should be done, like at that moment. And I had to learn the hard way. Like God was telling me, baby, I don't move on your time. Like that's what I was getting. Like, but it's like, but I got you. But I'm not gonna move when you tell me this is not what I have for you. And it just felt like just the whole time he was just telling me, like, hey, if you want me to be there, do this, make all these things happen. It's gonna come. What you got work to do, and I did not look at it like that, y'all. I looked at it as I'm the one that's hurt. I need you to heal me. I need to get back on track. I need to do that instead of like I got work, like, instead of realizing like I gotta play my part too. I gotta hold my weight, as well. So just going through everything that I went through, you would think that it would have caused me to just walk away from God. And don't get me wrong, there's been times where I told God, like, just in anger, that I'm upset with him, I'm done with him and things like that, because why I'm allowing all this rejection and stuff that has been brought on to me. I'm taking it out on him, because this is how now I see, how I see myself now. And but it's just like the things, everything that I went through, it I went through so that I can better know him. And even when I wanted to let go, like I couldn't. So just over, life's time with me and him and God, me and God, with me continue to build my relationship with him and things like that. um I how I look at things now is totally different. Is totally different. So now it's just like, even with my situation with my boyfriend now, what we got going on, I'm not responding with that with emotions. I know what it looked like, but yeah, I know what God could do. um so it was just like, I knew I needed God to stay with me. because I knew I couldn't do this by myself. You seen I was a wreck even with him there, so just imagine if he wasn't, I would be in such a mess. I will be living exactly of the things that has been done to me, that I have taken in the bad memories of how I was treated, looking at all the different ways that I was rejected. Like, I would have still been living like that of all that I allowed to take over me and stuff. So just allowing him to come in and to transform and rearrange and just put my heart under construction. Um, it took some time. It took time. But now that I'm just more in my word, praying more, and believe it or not, y'all, I am fasting. I am fasting, and I'm really excited about that. But it's just so much that I want to do, like I said, I want to do things right. So I have to play my part as well as him doing his part. So, coming to him healing me, facing the things that make me uncomfortable, including accountability of the things that I have been doing wrong. All of this that had to be put out on the table in order for us to move forward. I learned now that it built character in me. It I have gained spiritual growth. And now that I look at these rejections or things that's going on in my life, and I tell God, I'm just like, okay, because I will no longer allow rejection to be my identity. I cannot allow that to be who I am, because it causes such chaos, and I don't want to be chaos. I want to be at peace. So I'm not allowing rejection to be my identity. And those things and that right there that I just told y'all was definitely a prime example of emotional strongholds that I had. But now there are emotional strongholds that I refuse to continue to allow to imprison me. Even in Philippians 3:13, where he says, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself to have attained this. Instead, I am single-minded, forgetting the things that are behind and reaching out for the things that are ahead." Now, this does not mean erasing memories, but it does mean, by the help of God, you can remove the power that the memory had over you to keep it from defining your present and your future. And just even like a day or so ago, I remember I had two emails that came in from job applications that I put in. The first one came in and it said, this position is canceled, which I've never heard nothing like that before. And so after I got that email, I prayed. I was like, okay, God, okay, that's fine. I said, because either way it goes, I will not look at that as a rejection. I don't even look at that as a no from them. I look at that as a no from God. That's him telling me I got something else in mind that is aligning with everything else I have for you overall, and that is not it. And so I say that, I said, because even if, doing that application, doing that interview, regardless of what they thought of me, what they felt like I looked like, even if they felt like that I wasn't fit, if God said that that position was for me, it would have been nothing they could have did about it. So it's not them giving me a no. It's God standing in the midst of this, and he's telling me no himself, even through them, because I have something else for you. And that is how I look at it here on out. And then after that, I end up getting another email, which they said that they were moving on with other people. And then that's fine. Again, that's God telling me, you applied, you did your work, but that's not what I have for you. And again, guys, that is exactly I how I look at it. And so I just encourage you all to ask God to help reframe old wounds, pain, any or every memory that you feel needs to be brought to His attention. Okay? Ask Him to help you to dominate, to overcome whichever memory it is, again, that you need him to take care of. I'm telling you, I'm a living witness. I am a living witness. Bring to your mind of those that gives you hope. All the memories that you do have stored that can bring you hope. Bring that forth. And that's what I'm doing, just in general. Not, it doesn't have to be with the job, it doesn't have to be with relationship, just in general, because again, I'm not allowing those things to define me, because I know that God has a good thing. He has a new thing in store for me. So in order for me to have faith in that good thing and look forward to that, I got to leave alone what is done in the past. Y'all, it is time for spiritual repositioning. Okay? So I thank you all for listening to me, and I hope that this got to someone out there, my one or two viewers that I got. That's okay. That's okay though. I pray to see more of y'all. But yes, I do appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for just